Welcome to another episode of Mikaras Memo. I am your lovely host, Mikara Reid. If you're new to the segment, welcome. Mikaras Memo is all about motivational message paired with relatable stories and tips that will get you through this digital age. Are you ready for this week's topic and guest? Well, stay tuned. Hey y'all, hey, this is Mikaras Memo. I'm your host, Mikara Reid, and today I am definitely accompanied by a lovely guest of mine. Her name is Monique T. Marshall from Black to Business, which is a company that provides resources and connections for Black entrepreneurs. Say hello to the people, Monique.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. So today I wanted to do a brief, discussion. I've been noticing a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of people who are diving into entrepreneurship. And I've also been reading that Forbes, been calculating that a third of United States is gig economy, which is 57 million people are doing a lot of freelancing. And I feel like that's going to grow, but everyone is kind of just scrambling on the topic of how to balance entrepreneurship. And since people, been like noticing my movements, and of course you are always guiding entrepreneurs, I wanted to do a top 3, way of balancing entrepreneurship, relationship, life, and business. So me and you've been talking about these topics, and the number one that we both agreed on was being intentional as far as like relationship regarding business. So why don't you share like a story being intentional?
Yeah, I think being intentional is knowing, one, why you're starting, but also what you're doing in business. So one of the things that I've been able to do with Black to Business is be intentional by providing resources to entrepreneurs. And one of the things that sticks to me is I had a friend who's also an entrepreneur, and I knew that he was interested in speaking engagements. So initially when I started, I always kept that relationship open. And if an opportunity came up, I wouldn't necessarily always ask for something, but I had the opportunity to also work with a big corporation, Verizon, and I knew that he was interested in speaking, and this was like 2 years later. Mm-hmm. So I thought the perfect person to be on this panel was, again, I was nurturing that relationship of being intentional, was my friend Aquarius. So I reached out to him when the opportunity came, mm-hmm. and he was able to, do something bigger with his speaking engagements, but also me being intentional and nurturing that relationship and putting him in that place where he was able to further his mission and himself.
So that is definitely a great tool that I think everyone can kind of grasp on. I think it's well needed for anyone that's trying to become an entrepreneur and balance relationship. Number 2 reason I definitely think is very necessary is creating a vision board. I don't know how many times this is so helpful for me. I've been told to do this as like a high schooler, but now that I'm older, in my 30s now, and just moving around, I created 3 different vision boards, one for personal, one for career, and one for financial. And I have accomplished so much in each of those departments, and it definitely makes you more organized in accomplishing anything in life. And the number 3 thing that we both agreed on was time. You had one point of view, I had a different, but if you can briefly share like a little story of why time is important.
Yeah, for me personally, I also own a business, so I work full-time as well. And also you have a family, so you're trying to nurture those relationships. And one of the things is there are certain days that I take meetings. There are certain days, maybe I get up a little earlier, probably like 4 a.m. And then there are certain days where I make sure, like on Sundays, that's my day to call my family. So I make sure I'm giving them that time. Every day is not perfect, but I think having that time where you're a stickler on if someone tries to intervene with your schedule, at least you have that base to go to.
Definitely time management and just picking your time wisely, picking your people wisely, because people will definitely rob you of your time, and that is time that you cannot get back. And what's worse than wasted time?
Yes.
So thank you for tuning in my lovely session of Mikaras Memo. Make sure to leave a comment. I would love to hear your feedback. Also, if this works out for me, let me know. Until next week, tune in to Mikaras Memo. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Another episode of Mikaras Memo. This week's episode was with Monique T. Marshall from Black to Business. I would love to hear what you guys thought of this episode from Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Until next week, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.